Hi, I'm Lou Philipson, and I'm going to take the next few minutes to tell you a little bit about myself here at the University of Chicago and some of our research interests. So I'm originally from the East Coast of the United States, from New York to be precise. I had college in Boston, and then I've been here at the University of Chicago ever since. So we're coming on actually into the 41st or so year of my being in Chicago, counting all school, graduate school, and medical school, and then all of my postgraduate education have all been here. What I can tell you a little bit is that I'm presently professor in the Department of Medicine and Pediatrics. I am and have been the sort of the founding president of our and director rather of our Kovler Diabetes Center. I was president of the American Diabetes Association last year in 2019 for medicine and science. And so that has been a continuing effort where I am still involved in the American Diabetes Association in a number of different ways, including right now the executive committee for the Precision Medicine and Diabetes Initiative. Also involved in ADA and JDRF activities here in Chicago and sometimes nationally. My research efforts involve three overlapping areas. I think probably the most interesting for me at continuing is our work on monogenic diabetes, which includes two sorts of things. One is with our other faculty, Dr. Bell, Dr. Greeley, Dr. Naylor, and our program manager, Lisa Letourneau-Freeberg. We have been working on monogenic diabetes, really continuing work that started here in the early 1990s with Dr. Bell and our dean, Dr. Polonsky. So this has become the largest registry for monogenic diabetes in the United States, thanks in large part to Dr. Greeley and Dr. Naylor. We are involved in both identifying individuals with monogenic diabetes, tracking them, understanding the natural history, and putting that together with best practices for treatment, relationships to genetic testing, and a variety of other sub-studies that have continued to be extremely successful and interesting. Along with our work in monogenic diabetes, we are also moving into not only genes that affect insulin secretion, but genes that affect insulin action, and most recently, genes that are involved in what we're calling monogenic autoimmunity. So there's a whole subset of genes that control autoimmunity, some of which are well known, like AIRE, A-I-R-E. But AIRE does not really involve type 1 diabetes as much as other autoendocrine diseases. But we've identified several, and we're continuing to track interesting families with multiple autoimmunities or multiple generations of autoimmunities. Another large effort has been a study called RADIANT now, which is a study of identifying individuals across the country with atypical forms of diabetes. This has been a large effort with several different partnering institutions. Chicago is one of the lead institutions, along with Mass General, Baylor in Houston, and the University of Florida, University of South Florida in Tampa. Along that partnership is with the NIDDK. So the idea of this grant, which is about to launch its recruiting efforts, are to identify people with unusual forms of diabetes, not necessarily including dominant gene forms that are included in monogenic diabetes and MODY, but to collect them, to categorize them as best we can, and to then provide that with a resource, even if we can't identify the underlying defect. And as I said, that after 2.5 years of discussions and work on the outline of that multi-center trial, we're soon to launch the initial recruitment efforts. And then the third large effort that we have is a series of clinical trials, which would be terrific for fellows to be involved with. Some of them involve prevention of type 1 diabetes. One of the studies we're on is called PROTECT, which is part of a large multi-center international trial to examine the effect of teplizumab, which is an anti-CD3 antibody in people with very new onset diabetes. This is a pivotal stage 3 trial, which is very exciting and is in sort of the middle stages of recruitment. There are also several other studies that are involved. We're still a Center for Diabetes TrialNet, which is involved in also identification of people with multi antibodies against type 1 against islet antigens, which would predict the occurrence of type 1 diabetes, and looking at intervention trials for people who do not yet have type 1 diabetes. And there's then a variety of other trials that are underway, some of which are very early in the planning stage. So that is a little bit about me and our work, and I hope to hear from you if you're interested in what we're doing or have questions about it. Thanks.